Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, October 25th, 2017. I'm Cody Hathaway, and this is Pulsar. Fake news tonight, Tucker Carlson just broke. Jesus Campos left the country for some whatever reason. 3 days, 3 or more days after the shooting took place. He took a rental car for whatever reason, but remember, he was supposed to have been shot in the leg. So that's a big development. And we also have more on the Russia Clinton dossier, the Pissgate dossier. The Russia DNC paid for it. That's collusion right there. And no collusion ever found with Trump. But hey, there's tons of stuff you can talk about with Hillary. Uranium won. And now this Russia dossier, which her campaign and the DNC both paid for, along with one Republican, which I think was John McCain. But yeah, we'll dive into that tonight and enjoy. Tucker Carlson breaking that Jesus Campos left the U.S. in a rental car just a few days after that Vegas Massacre.
We received this document from a confidential source this afternoon. It's a Customs and Border Patrol form, and it shows that Jesus Campos entered the United States from Mexico at the San Ysidro border crossing in San Diego County almost exactly to the hour 1 week after the Las Vegas shooting at the beginning of October. Now, the document does not reveal how long Campos had been in Mexico. Our source told us that Campos entered the U.S. at the same crossing in January of this year. At that time, he was driving his own vehicle with Nevada plates. And yet, in this document from a little over 2 weeks ago, Campos was driving what appears to be a rental car with California plates. Now, this information raises a number of questions about the Las Vegas investigation and the crime itself. Jesus Campos is the only eyewitness to the biggest mass shooting in modern American history. At the time he was in Mexico, the press was reporting that investigators thought Stephen Paddock, may have had an accomplice in these killings. Why did authorities allow Campos to leave the country just days after the shooting while the investigation was still chaotic and, of course, ongoing? How did Campos, who reportedly had a gunshot wound to the leg from a high-powered rifle round, manage to travel to Mexico? Did he fly? Did he drive? Was his employer aware that he left the country? Were investigators aware? Did they facilitate the trip? What day did Campos get to Mexico? How was he able to drive back for hundreds of miles from the San Diego border back to Las Vegas? Why did he take a rental car instead of his own car? The union that represents Campos told us they were aware that he left the country. They claim it was a pre-planned visit. Why did it take a government leak for the rest of us to find that out? Why has MGM been so intent on controlling availability to Campos, booking him on the Ellen DeGeneres show and shielding him from press inquiries? Why did he appear with a co-worker in the Ellen interview rather than solo? Why did Ellen ask only leading softball questions? Why have so many people gone to so much trouble to shape the story of Jesus Campos? ABC spoke.
Well, I'll tell you the one reason why Jesus Campos went on Ellen, it's because Ellen has a deal with Mandalay MGM. She's got slot machines all in those casinos. But, yeah, that's that. It's huge. I mean, could only go in so much because there's so little information, but I'm sure a ton of stuff's going to be breaking on this over the next couple of days. So Drudge has not updated with the Jesus Campos stuff yet. I'm sure it will in the coming hours, if not within the hour. But I want to go to the Clinton-DNC payment for the Russian dossier, the Pissgate document, the complete fake news, phony document that came out on Trump saying that Trump paid prostitutes and had them piss on the beds that like Obama and them would sleep in. Like, give me a break. So yeah, Hillary Clinton's campaign, the Democratic National Committee, violated campaign finance law by failing to disclose payments for a dossier on Donald Trump, according to a complaint filed Wednesday with the Federal Election Commission. So the complaint came from the nonprofit Campaign Legal Center, and said the Democrats effectively hid the payments from public scrutiny, contrary to the requirements of federal law. By law, campaign and party committees must disclose the reason money is spent and its recipient. So there you go. I mean, that's the real Russia collusion. I mean, look at Uranium One, for crying out loud. Like, seriously, look at it. I have a video playing from News Wars here, or Info Wars, really. That's Roger Stone. He breaks it down, really, in a quick 2 minutes. It's a good explanation.
Hello, I'm Roger Stone. New York has been rocked by a story breaking regarding the origins of the famous GPS Trump dossier, a dossier that alleged that while visiting Moscow, Donald Trump in his hotel room entertained a substantial number of prostitutes and watched them urinate on a bed where Barack Obama had once allegedly slept. We now know that this dossier is a total forgery. The Washington Post revealed today that Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee paid $9 million for the creation of this dossier. The handiwork was done by a former British intelligence agent named Steele. But both the Post and the New York Times said that the origins of the document began during the Republican presidential primaries, and the initial funding came from a prominent Republican moneyman. We can now reveal that hedge fund manager Paul Singer was the original financier of this Trump smear document, and that his agent, Dan Senor, was the operative who made sure that it got to the FBI via the Senate offices of Senator John McCain. Making the entire matter worse, we learned that the FBI paid Steele an additional $50,000 to update the phony dossier. The Democrats want to talk about collusion. They want to talk about dirty tricks. This is the dirtiest trick I've ever seen. Roger Stone reporting for InfoWars.
Bang. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, look at this. Another News Wars article. It's mainly just about how Trump said, came out and was pretty much, oh yeah, look at this. There's the real collusion. Pretty much what everybody's saying. Yep. Trump went on Lou Dobbs earlier and pretty much said the same thing, like it was fake. They paid so much money for it for fake information. Like, look at it. Actually, yeah, they do have his tweets down here. I figured they would. Yep. Probably could go to that Lou Dobbs segment. We have to. But, I mean, pretty much get the picture. Clinton campaign, DNC, they paid millions of dollars for fake information on Trump. They colluded with the Russians to try to influence the election. That's the real collusion. And that's all there is to it. I mean, also look at your Uranium One. I mean, can't even begin to dive into that. It's so massive. This was just a little bit ago, I believe, 33 minutes ago. 35. Justice Department provides FBI Uranium One informant to Congress. So this, I mean, the apples are just falling off the apple cart at this point. Let's see what Martha had to say.
We have some breaking news just coming in, and it is that the Department of Justice is now saying that they will provide the FBI informant who was essentially embedded in the deals that led to the sale of Uranium One to Rosatom, the Russian company, that he will now be available to the committees on the Hill that want to ask him questions about the Clinton Foundation, about Uranium One, and all of those developments. So that is new tonight, and we will follow up on that tomorrow night, more on the story.
Yeah, I mean, come on now, like, they lifted the gag order that was immediately called for. Alright, there we go. Because this was yesterday, and Congressman DeSantis immediately called for the gag order to be lifted. This is from a Fox Business article yesterday. Actually heard it on Sirius XM on my way home from work yesterday. But yeah, literally, the Clinton Foundation received, I believe, $145 million coincidentally around the same time from the Russian company. Coincidentally, around the same time we signed off, being the State Department, being Hillary Clinton, signed off on giving Russia control of 20% of our uranium, and that Russian company that paid is run by the Kremlin. So it just, I mean, come on. And even this, yeah, like, look, former President Bill Clinton also received $500,000 speaking fee in Russia and reportedly met with Vladimir Putin around the time of the deal. Like, there's your Russia collusion. It ain't with Trump. That was a witch hunt, just like he said. And the left should be ashamed of themselves. And people who believe that should be ashamed of themselves, too, for being so naive and so gullible and not researching for themselves. We knew this all along. We knew this since day one. They were going to try to do something like this. It's not hard. Do your own research. You got to wake up. Got to be curious. You got to ask questions. Alright, so quick night. But there was two significant breaking stories there. Got Jesus Campos leaving the country only a few days after the Vegas Massacre. Supposedly he was shot. How did he drive so many hundreds of miles from Vegas to San Diego to wherever in Mexico he went, and then drive all the way back? I mean, I don't know. Doesn't add up. This whole Vegas mystery does not add up. I'm going to have much more on that with part 2 of my Vegas mystery video I did. First one wasn't that great, but the second one's going to be very good. Very informative. And then Clinton-DNC Russia Dossier, the Piscate payment. I mean, that's just ramping up. That's just getting started. There's gonna be a lot of things going on with this, and Hillary's gonna be in a lot of trouble with a lot of different things. But uranium one, this is probably one of the top 2. So yeah, we'll pick up tomorrow. We'll see what tomorrow has in store for us. So wraps up the news of the day for October 25th, 2017. ViewPulsar.com. Go to that. I'm going to start posting the YouTube links here. And then follow View Pulsar and follow Cody EST92 on Twitter. Thanks.